Param Pujya Swamiji Maharaj, all of our sisters and brothers here, our Jamnadasji, Radhuji, and all of those Jinki Vajah say this center is actually running. It's been so beautiful to come to this center from inception to today. We've been here probably at least 3-4 times as the center has grown. And it's just been so beautiful to see what an important role it's playing in the community. Seniors, because I think tragically what happens is we forget what our identity is. You know, when we're young, it's really obvious. We got to get up every day. We have to go to school. We have to get good grades. There's a little bit of questions. Am I a science student, or am I more of a liberal arts student? Am I an artist? Am I an athlete? Do I hang out with these people or those people? But basically, most of our days pre-cut for us. Most of the identity is pre-cut. So much of what we do is determined by our parents. You're going to learn dance. You're going to learn this music. You're going to learn this art. And then, of course, we get into speak about as the Grihastha Ashram phase. And again, there's some flexibility for choices and decisions. And, you know, who are you going to marry? Where exactly are you going to live? What are you going to make your career? But especially in Indian families, so much of it tends to really just flow really very naturally. We're marrying somebody that in so many cases our parents have found for us or have been recommended, introduced. We're going to live in a place probably relatively similar to where we grew up or where we were moving for a job. We're going to do that which we studied, that which we got degrees in. And again, things really are relatively predictable. There's not too much room for uncertainty. But as we age, there's a lot more room for uncertainty. There's a lot more that is uncertain, and especially when you are an elder in America. Again, going back to India, the roles are much more clear. There's a lot more respect for the elders. They're included much more in the community itself. The family tends to be there. You've got younger people to look after. But especially here, where maybe your kids are across the country. Maybe, you know, and that question of, so what are we going to do? What are we going to fill our time with? Becomes this big, big uncertainty. And so it's been really beautiful to watch this center grow and blossom that A, gives seniors a place to come together, to keep having a community, but also, hopefully, engages everyone in really specific programs and activities to really use what you've got. Because just because you've got gray hair doesn't mean that the gray hair sits on a brain that doesn't function. There's a lot of gray hair in the world that is covering up really highly functional brains. And too frequently, as the hair goes gray, we feel like, oh, chalo, though, you know, now life is over. I can't tell you how many times I've been in homes, Indian homes, but outside of India, with Pujya Swamiji, where there will be the grandmother, the grandfather in the home, and they'll put on, you know, a smiley face in front of everybody else in the living room. But when you're alone with them, they'll say to Pujya Swamiji, "Ab to ho gaya, ab to mera kaam ho gaya, jara aap Bhagwan ko bas pratana kar lijiyega ki mera ko upar utha le." Now, if this person were 98, 99, 103, and they were incapacitated suffering. It's a different story. I'm talking about people in their 60s, 70s. People with decades of strength, of josh, of ability. So just because the hair is gray does not mean that the brain is over. And it's really important because you've got such an important role to play in society, so many roles to play. I was reading just this morning, someone had sent me a link. You know, my academic background is psychology, and even though it's been almost 30 years since I've been in school, I love the field. I'm fascinated by it. In a lot of talks, I'll bring in psychological studies and things. So someone sent me today a link of a news story of a couple, and it was so depressing that it kind of took everything I had to get back into a good mood. It was so depressing. It was a story of a couple, a young couple, American couple, living back east, and they were living this like curated life. They had this big Instagram feed with hundreds of thousands of followers based on their lifestyle. They were young, I don't know exactly how old, late 20s, early 30s, kids were young. And evidently they had curated this entire identity around being just rich socialites. And every post was about this party in the Hamptons, this other, restaurant in the Hamptons, they lived in the Hamptons, this restaurant they went to, this pool party they had, this new purse she bought, whatever it was. And they had a whole curated identity around this. Now, the husband was some kind of real estate, property, business guy who evidently kept losing money. One deal fell through, another deal, and kept taking mortgages out, taking loans, keeping up this charade that they had money when actually they had nothing. Fast forward to just recently, he sends the wife and the kids off to a pre-planned trip to Europe that he was supposed to go on. He cancels at the last minute. And he commits suicide while they're away. Why? Because he was so ashamed. He hadn't even told his wife. So ashamed that he didn't have as much money as he was pretending to have. She had no idea. Kids had no idea. He was so ashamed that he didn't have the millions and millions and millions that they were pretending to have, that he couldn't keep up with this curated charade of a life. And it saddened me so deeply, not only because suicide itself is such a tragedy, but because you think, for what? For what? Like, what was the tragedy due to which this guy had to commit suicide? That he couldn't keep up with a mansion in the Hamptons? Okay, have an apartment, have a condo, so what? Young husband, wife, 2 little kids? There was nothing else wrong in their life except he couldn't keep up the act. And being unable to keep up the act, and the article ended with the line that their Instagram page has now been taken offline. Like somehow that was the greatest tragedy, that this story they were presenting to the world, that he wasn't able to keep it up, and therefore, in that shut-in, he committed suicide. That my wife isn't going to love me, my kids will be ashamed of me. Kya muur dikhaunga un logon ko. Now you imagine. And it saddened me so deeply because I felt like, kash, kuch elders ho unki life mein. Kash koi ho. Jinke paas he could have gone and simply said, I'm struggling with this, who would have said, Beta koi baat nahi, don't worry, hota hai life mein. Rather than taking another mortgage on the house to keep up your boat, sell the boat, sell the house, it'll be fine, you'll make it back later on. And I was thinking, in our Western world, where we have lost that sense of touch with our elders, where growing old has become something where people see it like a failure. I come originally from Los Angeles, and when I go back there to visit my dad or for some program, it's true everywhere, but it's especially bad there. Wherever you drive, you see these big billboards or signs on store windows that say anti-aging, reverse aging, and this injection, this serum, this entire store dedicated to anti-aging, entire, whether it's a boutique, whether it's some medical clinic, but it's all about, let's pretend, because none of it is actually health related. It's not about lose weight. It's not about get in shape. It's not about let's lower your cholesterol. It's about hair and face and wrinkles and plumping and, taking plump from one place and putting it in someplace else. Because we have started to see aging as a failure, we have started to see accepting reality as an embarrassment. So none of these clinics is doing anything to actually help people stay healthy. But it's just keep up a show until you drop dead. Right? That it's going to be a success if no one actually knew you were old until the day you actually die. And I was thinking so much today as I read this tragic article. You think not only his life, his family's life, his kids, all because we don't have the grounding in a culture that helps us understand values, priorities, family values, sanskaras, that has that wisdom, that has that guidance. If any elder had been present in their life, this tragedy never would have happened. And if we as a culture had not gotten into a pattern in which we see aging as a failure, as though somehow, oh my God, you can't defy the only non-negotiable rule of nature, that somehow that makes you a failure. There is only one non-negotiable guarantee of life: you will die. Before that, if you are lucky, you will get old. Getting old is a blessing, because the only option is you die young. As old as you can be, that should be seen as the greatest blessing, not the greatest failure. Because what it means is I haven't died yet. I'm still here. Look at me, all the wrinkles. But I'm here. What a blessing. And so you, as the elders of the Indian community, a culture that recognizes this, a culture that gives us guidelines of what to do at this age. We don't say, oh, okay, you've got 2 phases of life, brahmacharya phase, then grest phase, and then you just kind of eat pakoras until you die. Sit at home, drink chai, eat pakoras, watch TV till you die. That is not what the sages and saints gave us. We have 4 phases of life. 25 years each. What does that mean? 100 years. It's not कि 60 बस हो गया, जब भी भगवान ऊपर उठाएंगे, मैं तो तैयार हूँ, मेरा काम हो गया. मतलब it shocks me and saddens me to listen to it. On the one hand, full surrender is beautiful. Obviously, we all should live jaise Bhagwan ki ichha ho. But we should live remembering that just as I had work in my brahmacharya phase, I had to go to school, I had to get good grades, had to find my path, just as I had work in my Grihast Ashram phase, my family, my career, my community. I have work in my Vanprastha Ashram phase. I have work in my Sannyasa Ashram phase. And it is not just chai and pakoras. It's work, typically, traditionally, moving away from the communities, moving into forest dwelling. But even if you don't, that's okay. There's no rule about where you have to live. It's a mindset that says, okay, the body is a gift. The body is a celebration. As many more days, months, years that I have, let me do what I can to keep it healthy and strong. Let me honor it, let me celebrate it, and let me use it. I did all of that for me. I built my house, I raised my family, I educated my kids, I clothed my kids, we made the neighbors jealous. We did all of the things that we were supposed to do. But that's not my work anymore. My work now is to use my body for the greater family. The greater family, when we say Vasudev Kutumbakam, the world is a family. Your wisdom. I was thinking as I read the article today that we should set up some kind of like Indian elder hotline. Like a wise elder hotline. Some toll-free number, or maybe now people don't even need the phone, they can do it online. But something in which people who are struggling and who don't have elders in their lives, people who are estranged from their parents, or people who, for whatever reason, how their parents have made different choices, they don't respect their parents, they don't want their opinion. And they're looking for wise leadership. They're looking for wise elders. They want somebody to give them advice. We should create an Indian Elders Council, free, 24 hours a day, live chat. You know, I mean, if you can get United Airlines 24 hours a day, we should be able to get wisdom and guidance 24 hours a day. Whatever struggles people are having, whatever troubles they have, whether they want it in English, whether they want it in Indian languages, whatever it is. But I was thinking that your wisdom should be used. We're suffering a mental health crisis in this country. A crisis amongst people who have roofs over their heads, who have food in their refrigerators, who have running water in their house, who have nothing objectively wrong with them. I mean, most of you grew up in India. You know what struggle and suffering looks like. What we are seeing today, though, is an epidemic of suffering that has no foundation of suffering. There's food, there's clothing, there's a roof, there's school, there's money. But we are suffering inside. Because there isn't connection. There isn't culture, there isn't grounding, there isn't anchoring, there's not what we call sanskaras. And so I really think, and I would be happy to talk about this with anybody in the community, but I really think that we should utilize your wisdom, your grounding. You know, one of my favorite studies, I'll only give you one, but one of my favorite ones is one that they did many, many years ago, before I even was studying. They wanted to figure out which is the best form of therapy. You know, we've got behavior therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, psychodynamic therapy, all these different types. And they wanted to find out which was the best. And so they did a good, proper study. But of course, as anyone knows in science, you always have to have a control group. And so the control group was given no therapy at all, but instead of talking to a therapist, they just talked to a nice person. No background, no experience, no skills in therapy whatsoever, but just a nice person who was basically instructed, like, listen to people and be nice. And what they found, as embarrassing as it was amongst all the different schools of therapy, was there was no statistically significant difference between any of the different schools of therapy. But they also found, even more embarrassing, that there was no statistically significant difference between people who went in for some specific form of therapy and people who just talked to the nice person in the control group. So don't feel like, oh, I don't actually have any skills. Not only are you nice, but you've got your culture, your wisdom, your teachings. You've raised children, grandchildren, other people's children and grandchildren, nieces, nephews. So let's make this a beautiful project of this center. You've got a fantastic audio video setup thing. You've all got it on your phones. You've got it at home. But also lastly, this Vanprast and sannyas ashram phase, even if you don't physically go off into the forest, it's given to us for a reason. It's not just a suggestion. As we are entering what Pujya Swamiji calls the landing phase of the life's journey, we know that this body isn't going to come with us. We know all of what we've achieved and acquired and obtained isn't going to come with us. None of that is going to come. And what this last phase, that 75 years old to 100 years old phase of life is for, is to get to know who is it that you're going on that next journey with. Your body is not going. Your personality is not going. Your education isn't going. Your relationships aren't going. Social media is obviously not going. Who are you going to be traveling with? Who goes on that journey with you? Get to know that. When we speak about Atma Darshan, that experience of the truth of who I am, soul, spirit, consciousness, divinity, that is your companion, your only companion on the next journey of life. So make sure that you really spend time. This is why this phase is like, yeah, your families are fine. They're going to do great. They're taking care of themselves. Use your body and your brain in service of the community. And use time and energy and focus and attention and intention in getting to know who is that soul. Who is the one that when Bhagavan Krishna says, you're never born, you never die, cannot be burned by fire, cannot be wet by water, cannot be cut with knives. Who is that? Because it's not theoretical. The reason death is scary is because we have no idea where we're going, and it feels like we're going to be all alone. The way to make death not scary is to make the one who's traveling with you your best friend. Because if you had to take a journey with your best friend, you wouldn't be scared at all, even if it was a city you've never been to. So make your soul, make that presence of God within you your best friend. So that whenever it comes, whenever that exit sign of life comes, you're not taking the exit alone. You know exactly in whose arms you are traveling and into whose arms you are arriving. And until then, use this brain, use this body, use whatever you've got to give and give and give and give, because God only knows this world of America that you've chosen as your karma bhumi really needs it. It's a beautiful blessing and beautiful honor to ask Param Pujya Swamiji to bless us. Jamnadasji's asked me to introduce him. I'm honored to do so. I don't think he needs an introduction here, but just to fulfill Jamnadasji's adesh, I will take a moment. He is the founder, as you know, of the Hindu Jain temple. But he founded the Hindu Jain temple as a temple of unity because that's really what his entire life is dedicated to. It's not just, oh yeah, ye kiya. That was the most natural manifestation of who he is. He's the president of Parmarth Niketan in Rishikesh, where I hope most of you have come or are right on the cusp of planning your next trip. It's not only the largest ashram in Rishikesh, but it's one of the largest spiritual institutions in all of India. And as Pujya Swamiji's life is dedicated to service, that's what Parmarth is. And to me, what makes Parmarth under Pujya Swamiji's leadership and vision and blessing so unique is it's really dedicated to the full spectrum of service. Typically, you see either a lot of philanthropic humanitarian work, or you see an exclusive focus on spiritual study, wisdom, meditation, etc. And Pujya Swamiji is equally dedicated to both the empty stomach syndrome and also the empty heart syndrome. And so for those where it's the empty stomach, there's all of the work. There's the schools, the women's centers, the orphanages, the environmental programs, the toilets, the medical care, free medical care programs, which reminds me, all of those of you who are doctors, come and serve. We need you in Rishikesh. There's all of that. But then, as we were just talking about all of those who are suffering without that foundation, Parmarth offers so many programs: yoga, meditation, satsang, the life transformative Ganga Arti, yagna, all of that. Every day to really heal and transform people's lives and uplift people's lives. And he's the manifester of the impossible, whether it's ashrams in the sacred land of Mount Sarovar and Mount Kailash, where everybody said, nahi ho payega. To Chin Sarkar hai, nahi ho payega. But he said, hona chahiye. Ho gaya. I remember our former Prime Minister Vajpayee ji said, ki jo Bharat Sarkar nahi kar paye, ek sanyasi ne kiya. Ki Chin Sarkar say, ek foot zameen. And not only that, but the China government said to him, we'll give you first, not only are we giving you the land for the ashrams, but for everything that happens in the future, we will come first to you. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. कोई सोच नहीं सकते थे. So whether it's that, whether it's the 11-volume Encyclopedia of Hinduism, he's truly the manifester of that which needs to happen, whether it seems possible or whether it seems impossible. His mantra, life mantra, is yes. Whatever lands in his lap, the answer is yes. Much to the dismay of those of us around him who are like, really? Another thing? Yes. Yes. It's the only mantra that he knows. And through that yes, everything blossoms. Whether it's those of us who have been blessed to be around him, whether it's buildings, whether it's structures, whether it's trees, whether it's people, whatever it is. It all just keeps growing and blossoming. So it's a beautiful honor to ask him to share his words of wisdom with us all this evening.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Shanti Shanti Respected Sadhvi Bhagawati and my beautiful souls, my sisters and brothers, it's so beautiful to be here again. Sadhviji shared so beautifully and made you proud of yourself. Aging is not curse, it's not pain, it's boon. You are a blessing, not only for the children, for the community also. You are the real GDP of the community. You are a great asset to the community. Never think, बहुत हो गया. The Sadhviji, when she shared, जहाँ भी जाते हैं, एक प्रार्थना, बस अब उठा ले भगवान. अरे क्यों उठा ले? बहुत कुछ टूट जाने के बाद भी जब हम खुद ना टूटें, समझ लेना कि जिंदगी बाकी है. Because I am coming from, so much has been said about me, about by Sadhviji. But let me tell you, I'm a jungle boy. I was very young when I left. And being in the Himalayas, being in the forest, my experience being with those saints is very different. I learned from them. They were nothing there, out of nowhere, जंगल में. खाने का पता नहीं था, मेन्यू की तो बात ही क्या है, खाना ही नहीं था. What to talk about the menu? यहाँ तो फेसबुक पे मेन्यू ही डिस्कस होता रहता है. Amazing, yeah. That's why we are using the Facebook. वहाँ कॉफी पिया, वहाँ चाय पिया, चीची गए, मैकडोनल्ड गए, यहाँ गए, वहाँ गए. लेकिन they were sitting there. They were not on the Facebook, but they were facing their book every day. How to face our book. मेरी book में क्या लिखा मैंने? There is a beautiful saint, and he sang one beautiful song, I think 45 years ago, 50 years ago. आ जिंदगी ना चोपड़ा ना सरवालो मांझो. A beautiful song, Dada Pandurang Shastriji. He said, hey, come on. Enough is enough. You have done enough, seen enough. There will be never enough. Anyway, अगर कुछ है सोचने का तो इतना ही है कि how much and how and what I have written in my book, in my file. All these profiles you are making. Yesterday, today I shared. All these profiles, all these CVs, one more addition maybe, they all are going to stay here. Your own file. वही साथ जाएगी अगले जन्म में भी, वही काम आएगी अगले जन्म में भी. इसलिए he used to say, those people who were living, just imagine, they had nothing. As I said, no menu for tomorrow. And I remember even my own hut, small hut, 6x8, leaking in the rainy season. Scorpions, we used to sleep like this, very tight. If the scorpion comes, you see, another scorpion comes, because you don't kill. You believe in non-violence. But being with those scorpions, with the snakes, being with so many odds, there was no door-to-door service. No menu for tomorrow, no McDonald's, nothing was there. Just you order and things are there. But I had seen those people sitting there, being there. They were also in 80s. In 90s, one Swamiji, in my young age, invited me and I was very amazed to see him. 95 years old. What a great scholar. And he said, I don't know where I'll go, whenever the divine plan is. He never said, I am too much tired now, I am praying to God, take me away. No. He said, I am 95. I don't know when the final call comes, before the final call comes, and I'm not even concerned when he wants me to be there. But I have something with me. Please. He said, I have written so many books. All these Pandulipis, the manuscripts are here. Why don't you take them? Maybe something happened in the jungle to me. At least this wisdom, this knowledge. And I don't want any copyright. No name even. Anybody wants to use it. Just give it to someone who can use it. Look at those people, given their whole life. और कोई चिंता नहीं है, मेरी किताबों का क्या होगा, मेरे कपड़ों का क्या होगा, केवल एक ही बात कि मेरे कर्मों का क्या होगा. हम कपड़ों की चिंता में रह गए. साध्वी जी कह रही थी ना, इतने सारे स्टोर, इतनी सारी चीजें, सब एजिंग की बात हो या फेशियल की बात हो या जो भी बातें हैं, इसकी चिंता पिंपल की बात हो, पिंपल की नहीं, पापों की बात करो या पुण्यों की बात करो. नहीं, पिंपल यही रह जाने वाले हैं. अगर कुछ साथ जाएगा तो मेरे पुण्य और मेरे पाप, माय कर्मास. इसलिए वो कहते थे, being, as I said, out of nowhere, there were thousands reasons to complain. This is leaking, that is leaking. In monsoon, there was really it's very horrible. Even being there in those small huts, you can't sleep, and how you can meditate then, but no, leaking is leaking, but you should not leak. Yeah. This is the way. Roof is leaking, but why should you leak? Complain. What is leaking? Is complaining, grumbling, complaining about each other's, complaining about situations. Why I'm telling you, you are at the age, and it happens in our life also. We sit together, we talk about our children, we talk about so many things and complain also. They have not phoned me even. It's okay, let them live their own life. मजे करने दो उनको. Bless them. आप अपना lending सुधारो. How you're lending, take up, you have taken so many things. I shared today in the temple also, your lending is very important. How you lend now. When you reach, God is waiting for you to welcome you. It can happen. Okay, well done. Wapis jao. No mukti. Why mukti? You people have done so much for, so many people met me. Today also somebody came to me, even in SV temple also. I'm just coming from there. Said, Dr. Agarwal, I am his. He has given me so much in my life. Other person met me in the temple. He also said, look at this people whom you are sharing with your knowledge. They are remembering you. One old man on my, it was 2022, my 70th birthday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, 2022, on my 70th birthday, so we said what we should do. People asked me, I said 70. Okay, why not 70,000 trees? Okay, one old man, after the lecture and the program, he just came to me, he said, bless me. I can do also something like you. I go, what? He said, I am 81. Bless me that I can plant before I die 81,000. This is the way to live. I can plant 81,000. And he was not from some small family either. The people, the new Vista, the new parliament has been done now in India. The people who have interior decoration done is their family. And he comes to me, he said, Ghar jate hi, the moment I reach home, first thing, I'll buy a truck. Not SUV, not a Mercedes or BMW. I will buy a truck. They have everything. I will buy a truck. And I'll go on my own. I'll take my travel. I'll go there. And there's one condition that you have to come to plant first tree and the last tree. And you will be amazed because of his sankalpa and to see his youth in his age. 81 and 87 or 81? He was 87, I think. Whatever. Even if it doesn't matter, 81 or 87, both are graceful age. So, we went there in Jaipur. We planted one tree in Jaipur. The beautiful park is there. And we did it. Not only one, so many. And then last, we went for 81,000 tree. We went there and he said, "Aap akele aoge? Kya pata main kab chala jaun? Why not you bring all the galaxy of saints, Ramdev Ji Maharaj, Ramesh Bhai Ji Oja, Swami Gurushanand Ji Maharaj, Swami, and so many other saints." We all went together because they could afford. They made a plan for us to fly together. We all went there. When I went there, 81,000 tree we just planted there. That last tree all together. And then he had a feast for 51,000 people. In the whole, so many villages also. He said, who knows when is my last day? Not my body, not my brain, my bank also. He called his children. He said, "Mere bank mein kitna hai?" Okay. मैं कहना बॉडी और ब्रेन, मुझे बॉडी ब्रेन एंड बैंक, और यही अपना भी हाल है, बॉडी ब्रेन एंड बैंक. टाइम आ गया खाली करने का. यही तो कुल भगवानी ने किया. लेकिन जाने के बाद जीना कैसे है और जाना कैसे है, बस यही सीखना है. हाउ टू लीव एंड हाउ टू लिव. First how to live, then how to live. These two things are very very important. Why it came to me when Jagannathji said, today is a Tulsidasi Jayanti. Great saying, great point, and let me share with you, after Ayodhya temple, it's a historical thing happened in India. 15th January, this 15th of August is coming, we will celebrate. We keep celebrating. It's a very important day for India. 26th of January, we keep celebrating. We will celebrate in coming years also. But that month and that 2024 is a very beautiful year for our tradition, for our Sanatan culture. That this Ram Janmabhoomi, after 500 years war, it was a war against so many, but very peacefully. We kept fighting, and today you see that. Our Honorable Prime Minister of India, amazing man. And today we can witness this great temple. Let me tell you, these saints who have given these beautiful lines, being there, being nowhere, having so many troubles, but thinking about one thing only, creating for you, for your children and children's to come. Those few catchy lines which you can remember. And that's a son being out of nowhere. He said, remember two things. Narayan, ek maut ko, दूजे श्री भगवान. दो बातन को याद रख, जो चाहत कल्याण. नारायण एक मौत को, दूजे श्री भगवान. Remember two things. If you want to live peacefully, happily, harmoniously, one, remember death. Death. Sadhu said, don't have a fear of death. He said, not have a fear of death, but remember death. If you remember death, then some Swamiji said, what you are talking about? Death? Death is very scary. Why we should keep remembering death? He said, suppose tomorrow is your last day. What you will do? What you will do? He said, I'll leave everything alone and I'll just remember God. Nothing else. But nothing else will go. I'm gone. He said, if that day is tomorrow and you will leave everything and you will only remember God and you will, he said, then I will do whatever I have, I will do charity. I'll just give, because anyway, I will not be there. He said, that's why you will remember God. Death. If the death is coming tomorrow and you can give everything, share everything, this is the way to live. Life is not only to have more. Having more is great, but being more is even greater. And being more is sharing more, giving more, caring more, serving more. That's why you remember the death can come any day. Then you will not be scared. You will be prepared. Somebody asked me also one question one day. He said, suppose, he said, he was very naughty. He said, suppose God at the last day receives you and first thing, he said, hell is prepared for you. Go to hell. I said, why I will be sent to the hell? He said, suppose. I said, okay. Suppose, I'm asking you. He was a young kid. I had to answer him. Suppose. I said, great. If God is going to send me to the hell, he said, then what next? What you will do? I said, I'll start Ganga Aarti there. I'm doing Ganga Aarti in Rishikesh. People are so happy. They love it. I know that people love Ganga Aarti. At least I have something that people love it. Okay, I'll start my Ganga Aarti there in the hell. Whatever you are doing, You don't have to be scared. Only scared that how you are living. Today is a World Healing Day. Today is a World Healing Day. You know, in World Healing Day, what is that healing? Nowadays, so many types of healings are going on. It became a great business also. Billions of dollars business. Heal yourself. But that Swami in the jungle, one day, he shared so beautifully. He said, Bolo Jeevan kaisa hai? Very simple. They were very simple people. To Ramakrishna Paramahansa, if somebody goes, ask some question, he was so simple. I remember when I was very young, I came back from the jungle, there was Swamiji, he has no eyes from his childhood. His name was Swami Chidanand Maharaj. 1 hour you take to keep repeating question. This is my question, this is my, and you go on, and he will just, in one line. He will give the answer. It was so profound. So those saints was given in sutras, even Patanjali Yoga Sutras or any other sutras, they used to give in sutras. So he said, so beautifully, he said, Bolo जीवन कैसा है, जैसा बना लो वैसा है, जैसा इसको स्वर्ग बना लो, चाहे इसको स्वर्ग बना लो, चाहे इसको नरक बना लो. What is life? He said, life is what you make it. It's like an apple pie. He said, apple pie? And I will not go there. Time is less. How life is apple pie. I will not go there. Now, he said, life is what you make it. Whether you turn to hell or whether you turn into heaven. This is you who make your life hell or heaven. How you feel. He said, how you feel about things, about people. This is you, not people. We have so much about others and we forget ourselves. When we, very famous, it's not I'm sharing something very new to you. Raise a finger. Look at these other fingers. It towards you. हमेशा याद रखो ये सब यहीं रह जाएगा. All your cleverness, cunningness, चतुराई और चालाकी सब यहीं रह जाएगा. कुछ साथ नहीं जाए. इनको देख लो ना. गोल भगवानी जी को देखो. He understood. That day, he could have done so much. But in his life also very simple. I remember when both husband and wife, Dhruv and Gul, Umesh, you know that? Nahi, Vandana? You people are together that time also. That we know when they used to come. They were so humble. So humble. अपने लिए कुछ ज्यादा खर्च ही नहीं किया. जोड़ते रहे किसके लिए? Pittsburgh के सीनियर्स के लिए. सोचो तो सही. Yeah. Not for themselves. They collected every penny, all of their life, और will कर गए. कुछ सेंटर बनेगा और जमुना दास उसमें की पॉइंट है. अगर कोई मुझसे पूछे तो, क्योंकि मुझे मालूम था when they used to talk to me also. कि जिसमें अगर ये सेंटर आज बना है जमुना दास जी, ये विल जो बनी, बहुत सारी चीजें हुई और विल के पीछे लगे रहे, फिर वहां से उनकी बेटी, वहां से पता नहीं कौन कौन आया, इनके बहुत कुछ हुआ. आप लोगों को शायद मालूम होगा, कुछ लोगों को, उमेश को. लेकिन आज सेंटर जो खड़ा है ना, क्यों खड़ा है? देखो, there are two things. One is maran, another is smaran. Two beautiful words, maran. People who live for themselves, उनका मरण होता है. They die. Nobody bothers. Millions, billions have come, billions are gone. Who bothers? Even our own people forget. If you ask your great-great-grandparents, nobody knows the name even. But if somebody has done something in your family, you know, our Dadaji, our so-and-so, because they have done something. If they have come and gone, nobody bothers. So, मुझे तो लगता है उनका जीना भी सफल, उनका जाना भी सफल. तो जो अपने लिए जीते हैं, people who live for themselves, their leaving, their departure is called maran. And people who live for the sake of society, for others, and live for others, their departure is called smaran. They are not gone, they are on. And they are on. Gul and Dhruv, they are on through this center. Use this center. Don't try to keep yourself in the center. It's not the key. Key is find the center. Find the center. Before you leave, before you depart, you also have to go. Nobody has a registry from there that you are going to stay here. This is given to us to stay, to use, to be there. But how to be there? इसलिए डेथ याद रहे कि मुझे भी तो जाना है. किसके लिए मरना है, किसके लिए फाइट करना है, किससे फाइट करना है, कब तक फाइट करना है. When fights are over, and when fights are over, when you find out the truth of life, कि नहीं, there is a death, there is a day, I also have to go. I will also leave the same way. They have left the will. You are not there to enjoy their will. You are here to enjoy your will and the divine will. ये जब तक आप करेंगे तो पक्का मानिए आपका ये जन्म भी सफल, आपका वो जन्म भी सफल. नहीं तो विल पे ही पड़ते रह जाओगे. वो तो विल करके चले गए, अच्छा है कम से कम आज सत्संग हो रहा है, लेकिन अपने उस विल के चक्कर में ही इल विल होकर जाएंगे. हमें सोचना है कि मुझे कैसे जीना है. आई वॉन्ट टू स्टे एज ए बेटर वे और ए बेटर वे. कैसे जीना है मुझको. छोटी छोटी बातें ट्रिगर करती हैं लोगों को, और लोग एक दूसरे के साथ टाइगर बन जाते हैं. या इट ट्रिगर्स एंड यू बिकम टाइगर. You don't even realize what is the purpose of life. Why this beautiful life has been given to us. That's why the saint said, remember the death every day, and it's there around the corner. It's not 70 years or 75 years. No one has the ultimatum before you leave. We have lost so many people in the COVID. We know that. Around the corner. So that's why he said, remember God. And second, he said, remember Ishvara. I'm so happy. Our Srinivasan is here, SV Temple's chairman. When I entered there, I said, you are very lucky that God has took. He said, I'm not a chairman. I am just a humble sevak. I'm so lucky that God has given me this seva. I'm a humble servant of the divine. We are all volunteers here. It all belongs to Him. See, this is the way to live. It all belongs to Him. We are all volunteers here. And really, believe me, we are volunteers here. And that is His grace that He has given this opportunity to serve. That can be trained. Our Nisha is here. Your brain can be trained. Now the doctors also, medical sciences. Our Sadhviji is here. I have seen her when you said in her introduction that she found the way how to heal and transform people. The journey took her from healing and transformation, from all the way. She learned how to let go things. This is what is making us stuck. She learned how not live in a Hollywood way, but the Himalayan way. She learned how not to live just for my shelves. She was born in Hollywood, graduated from Stanford, did her PhD, great dad, great mom, beautiful life, only child. Being a Jewish family, she had everything. And took from Hollywood to the Hollywoods. What an amazing story. In one place, all the shelves are full, but being there, she was not concerned, even today, not concerned about those shelves or the lockers. Dad said, at least you should know. We are getting old. You should know what is there. He said, Dad. And you will be amazed. Our President of India was staying with us for 3 days. The previous one. She also came now, this 2 months ago. But the previous one, the 1 year ago. He said, and we were sitting together. He said, second day, 1 day program was Aarti, and second day he said, you people have a 3 hours program. Can't we short it? Let us have a 45 minutes program. So, okay, as a president, okay, no problem, whatever you want, we get for you. And he said, hum log milke baithenge. And he took everybody out, his personal secretaries, private secretaries, and said, Sadhviji and you both come and we'll sit with family, daughter, wife, we are all sitting together, the president. And beautiful, amazing man, what a humble beginning, humble story of his life. I was very impressed. He shared the whole story. He said, Sadhviji, I came to see you also here. I came to meet you also. He said, whenever you come on the TV, I have told my baby, Swati, that please keep eye on that program. I want to listen to her. And I will listen to you. Even I'm so busy because being a president of India, so much is there, but I listen to you. Then he went on and on, appreciated. Then his wife said, can I ask you one question? As usual, it happens. She said, but all the time, I don't know, I should ask you or ask. He said, no, please ask. He said, whenever I see you, just wear the same sari. Don't you have? Ladies का ध्यान ज़्यादा जाता है कपड़ों में. Don't you have? तो जी नहीं, I have 4 sarees. तो इसे फटती नहीं है. बोले हाँ, yes, it happens. And whenever it happens, I don't know what to say. She doesn't know what to call this. Fall.
Yeah, fall. Now we learned. Huh? Now we learned. It's called fall. Yeah.
And she said, the daughter said, fall. He said, yeah, fall. She said, whenever my sari is torn, I don't know how to sew it. I just staple it. She looked at her. She said, staple? Why don't you have a new sari? Why do you give it to the tailor master? He said, well, I don't know. Then I just, and they started looking at the sari, and 3 staples. Sari was stapled 3 places. His wife said, you know what? I was looking for somebody. If I will become Cheli, I am going to become your Cheli disciple. But you will be amazed to know that year, that was the 8.5 years. Same 4 sarees, coming from Hollywood, being such a rich family, having so much, 8.5 years, 4 sarees. Those sarees are also given by the Gita Bhavan, the next ashram. The trustees, they had a beautiful factory. They especially
I have a staple today also.
So 4 sets, they gave it to me, they gave it to Sadhviji. And this time they came, my 73rd birthday, and they brought this, and we have a big cloth for you, and we want to give you almost 10 years. We have given you on your birthday. I said, no, we don't need it. 8.5 years, that's when President talked, now the 10th year. I'm telling you, it is not what you wear. It is not how much you have. Nothing wrong in it. God bless you. Enjoy it. Life is to enjoy. Be glamour conscious, no problem. But the saints told me in the jungle, he said, it's good to be glamour conscious, but believe me, if you want to stay happy, be God conscious. Maintain that connection. What is that? It's that connection. When the connection is maintained, you find your anchoring and your grounding. When that grounding and anchoring is there, you feel so healed. You don't have to look for healing centers. You are looking for healing center because you lost your direction, you lost your shift. That's what spirituality does. Gives you that grounding. नहीं तो क्या है 10 साल same साड़ी, and that साड़ी is also 300 rupees it costs. 1200 rupees in 10 years. Not easy. But it's all shift. खूब साड़ी पहनो, solitaire पहनो, रोज बदलो, no problem. लेकिन याद रखो कि जीवन केवल साड़ी और solitaire नहीं है, सूट नहीं है. हम दूसरे को सूट कर जाएं, हम दूसरे को भा जाएं, और उसके साथ साथ फिर जब वहां पहुंचे उसको भी लगे well done, wonderful, go back, serve again. When this happens, that life is successful. Sometimes life is successful. People are successful, but they are not happy. इसलिए सफलता नहीं, प्रभु की प्रसन्नता. So those were the people living with less and being more. छोटी-छोटी चीजें, छोटी-छोटी बातें. These golden lines we can keep in our lives. That's what shape your life and make your life. तो नारायण एक मौत को, दूजे श्री भगवान. इसलिए डरना नहीं है, आगे बढ़ते रहना है. कौन कहता है कि मौत आएगी तो मर जाऊंगा, मैं तो दरिया समुद्र में उतर जाऊंगा. I am just like a river, and a river will enter to the ocean. You are not dying there. You became one with the ocean. Mahasagar. God bless you. And I remember again our Gul and Bhagunani, this Dhruv Bhagunani, that those people, this with their money, with their will, they have created this beautiful center. Let us use it wisely. And the way Sadhviji said, that we should have a beautiful idea she has given. People ask us also, so many people, we are home, doing nothing, we want to do some seva, we want to do something. And you are capable, you can do it till the last day of your breath, last day of your last breath. You are capable. Look at that 81 or 87 years old guy. And not only that, I was just sharing the story with you. After that feast, Swami Ramdevji, myself, we all went there, planted the tree then. He said, not only this one, this 51,000 people are there. After having the feast, I want everyone have a blessing from you all people. Just touch it and this will be given and shared with those people to take care of Mother Nature. He said, my mother told me, Mata Bhumi, Putroham Prithivya. This mother, this earth is your mother, you, and we are her children. We should take care of that Mother Earth also. The mothers, Mother Earth, Motherland. Very precious, very important. इन सबको सम्मान दीजिए, अपने कल्चर का सम्मान करिए, अपने घरों को मंदिर बनाइए. और बिफोर, इससे पहले कि ये जिंदगी हम किसी के हो जाएं, ये जिंदगी उसी की है जो किसी का, कम से कम ये दूसरे के होके रहो. सच्ची कह रहा हूं. क्या शिकायत करनी है, क्या कंप्लेन करना है, क्या छोटी छोटी बातों पे लड़ना है? ये सारे पेपर यहीं धरे रह जाएंगे, ये सारे कोर्ट यहीं धरे रह जाएंगे before you reach the Supreme Court. Really? Let us solve everything. Let us be together. Let us be one and share the center with all. God bless you. Thank you. By the way, one more thing came to me. Kumbh Mela. You know, this year, next year, by 2025, there is a beautiful Kumbh Mela. You will be amazed. The world biggest spiritual fair, where 400 million, more than America's population, 400 million people, Srinivasanji, are coming in during 6 weeks, from 14th of February January to 29th of February, or 26th of February. 40 million people.
400 million.
So 440 crores. 400 million people are coming. I invite one and all of you, welcome home, and this will be a great opportunity to be there. Who knows next Kumbh Mela? But at least this Kumbh Mela is around the corner. Whoever wants to come, welcome home and have the darshan of that beautiful Kumbh Mela.